What is up, everybody? We are back here at King Films for another NFL video, and this one is a full NFL playoff prediction. The entire bracket. We will start out with the Super Wildcard Weekend to the Divisional, then the Conference Championship game, and then the Super Bowl. Predicting the entire bracket, our Super Bowl winners, so be sure to stay tuned for the entire video. And I'm here, Ryan, with my co-host AJ, and he actually predicted a perfect playoff bracket last year to the Super Bowl. He went 10-0. But sadly predicted the 49ers to beat the Chiefs, which didn't end up happening. So he's got some credibility on his hands. Let's see if I can do better than him this year. So we're going to recap the playoff picture going into the playoffs. And obviously the Chiefs already had the 1 seed locked up going into Week 17, so they rested their players. Then at the 4 seed, you have the Titans, who, in a nail-biter, beat the Texans to clinch the AFC South. Then playing them are the 5-seeded Ravens, who got that due to their win against the Bengals. Then at the 3, we have the Steelers, who rested a lot of their starters against the Browns. It didn't really matter. They played the Browns in Week 17. Browns won that game, so they clinched their spot, getting the 6th. Then we had the Bills, who are one of the hottest teams in football, have won 6 straight games, including beating Miami Dolphins in Week 17 in a rout to get the 2 seed. And then the Colts beat the Jaguars convincingly in Week 17 and slide in the playoffs at the 7th seed. And then in the NFC, we have the Packers, who clinched the 1 seed in Week 17 via their win against the Bears. Then the football team, who won against the Eagles on Sunday Night Football to clinch the NFC East. Then the Bucks, who beat the Falcons in Week 17 to get the 5 seed. Seahawks, who got the 3 due to their NFC West title. Then the Rams, who have the 6 seed because John Walford was able to beat the Cardinals in Week 17. Then the Saints at the 2 seed going 12-4, beating the Panthers in Week 17. And then the Bears just sliding into the playoffs after the Cardinals lost. So at 8-8, they get into the playoffs. We'll see if they're able to do anything. So in my predictions in the first wildcard game here, the Titans and the Ravens. Give me the Ravens in this one. And I really think this one's going to be a close game, a very high-scoring game. But I like Lamar Jackson and the J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards rushing attack of the Ravens. They had over 350 yards rushing against the Bengals in Week 17. And trust me, this Titans defense is no good. They can give up points to anyone, give up 40 to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. They give up 38 to Deshaun Watson and the Texans. I mean, they can't stop anyone. Now, it does scare me because I think they can go on a run in this playoffs if Derrick Henry has a day on the ground in some of these games. And Ryan Tannehill has certainly been great through the air, has some great targets. But I just think that the Ravens have a more consistent defense. It's certainly going to be a shootout. I take the over in this game, but give me the Ravens in this one. I just think they have the better squad. Then we go to a highly anticipated AFC North battle, the Steelers and the Browns. And give me the Steelers here. And although the Browns won that game very narrowly in Week 17, I really liked how the Steelers played with Mason Rudolph. I think with them airing the ball down this field as they did in the fourth quarter of the Colts game, and as Mason Rudolph did in the fourth quarter of the Browns game, I think if they do that, I mean, they can torch this Browns defense. And then I don't know what Baker Mayfield will be able to do against the Steelers defense. They obviously rested a lot of starters. TJ Watt's going to be back for this game, and they really got to set the tone for the Steelers on the defensive side. And it's Baker Mayfield's first playoff game. We'll see what he does. Browns definitely need to assert the running game, but I just think the Steelers have the better squad. They're the more proven team. Give me the Steelers in that one. Then we have the Bills and the Colts, and people think that the Bills are good, solid in this game to advance, but I really don't think that way. I'm really high on this Colts squad with Frank Reich. I think he's a great coach, a great play caller, and this might be Phillip Rivers' last game in the NFL. So he's honestly been underwhelming in his career in the playoffs, but I think he's going to show up in this one, and Jonathan Taylor has got it going on the ground. They've gotten T.Y. Hilton integrated in the passing game, so I think the Colts offense is nothing to sneer at, and their defense has played pretty well as of late, but they can be on and off, and I really don't like their matchup against this Bills offense, who has been great in the past 6 weeks. So give me the Bills here, but I think it may be very close. It's going to come down to that Colts rushing offense and this Bills rushing defense. AJ, what do you have in this AFC wildcard round?
So in the wild card, I'm going to disagree on the 4-5 matchup. I'm going to get the Titans to win this game, and I think the recipe for their success is going to be very similar to last season. Ryan mentioned that the Titans have a slightly weaker defense than last year, and I think that this will be a close and competitive game. It is the 4-5 matchup, but give me the Titans to win close, Derrick Henry to get at least 2 touchdowns and carry this squad. In the 3-6 matchup, I'm going with another upset. Give me the Browns here by a point or two in a very close game. I think that the Steelers are a bit overrated. Their only win in the last few weeks is over a Colts team, which they got some controversial calls to go their way. So give me the Browns here. I know they narrowly won against Mason Rudolph, but I honestly see this game being a Browns team that is very amped up for the game, as they haven't been to the playoffs in years, and a Steelers team that will go back to their old ways of disappointing in the last few weeks and will end their season on the downhill slope. In the 2-7 matchup, give me the Bills here. Like Ryan, I have a bit of respect for this Colts team, but I really just think that the Colts are going to run away with this one. They really impressed me against the Dolphins, another team that you could argue is better than the Colts, and they ran away with that and put up 56 points. So give me the Bills easy here. Ryan, what about your second round?
Well, in the second round, we're going to get a very intriguing matchup between the two last MVPs in Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. And I think the Chiefs might be a little asleep in this one. They obviously didn't play their starters in Week 17, lost to the Chargers. And then you have a bye week, and then you have this game. So their starters realistically haven't played in 21 days going into this one. And you saw when they were asleep at the wheel last year, we're down 24-0 to the Texans. Now, I don't think it'll be that bad. I think Andy Reid will have his guys ready to go. But the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, his reputation is on the line here. He has an 0-2 playoff record in the last 2 years, and really, he's been in great positions to win in both of those games. So I think he has a lot to prove in this postseason, and I think they can dominate time of possession in this game. The Ravens' defense isn't as great as it has been in years past, but this rushing offense is nothing to sneer at. And this Chiefs defense really, it came into its own at the latter part of last season. That's what won them those playoff games in the second half. When they were pulling off those comebacks on offense, their defense came in clutch. The defense hasn't come into its own this season, so I think that the Ravens get a monumental upset in the divisional round, and I think Lamar Jackson can finally defeat Patrick Mahomes in a head-to-head matchup. And then the Steelers-Bills, this will be, I don't think, as good of a game. I mean, the Steelers and Bills played in, I think, Week 14, and the Steelers really got blown out in the second half of that game. They could not stop Josh Allen, and it was really their offense could not score. But really, in that matchup, the Bills' offense got stopped in the first half. But at this point, I think Josh Allen is going to win in a shootout versus anyone. He's going to put up a lot of points. Can Ben Roethlisberger and this sluggish Steelers offense keep up? I'm going to say no. It may be a little close, but you just can't predict the Steelers to get past the divisional round at this point unless they show a lot of improvement from the last weeks of the regular season. So I'm going to have the Ravens and Bills in the conference title game. What about you, AJ?
So in the Chiefs-Browns matchup, I'm going to go with the Chiefs here easy. I think that the Browns' excitement for the playoff atmosphere will have worn off here, and I think that the Chiefs are going to have a great game plan with the week off, and the Browns might be feeling it. They've played hard these last couple of weeks. Give me the Chiefs easy. And then in the other AFC matchup, I find this one a lot more interesting. You've got Bills-Titans. I'm going with the Titans, and I agree with Ryan. In a shootout, the Bills will win any game, and that's what it figures to be with no defense for Tennessee. But here's what I see happening. I'm going to go full hypothetical here and say that there will be a fierce snowstorm in this game, and that is how Derrick Henry is going to take over. Josh Allen will not be able to throw the ball, and I know you're saying the Tennessee Titans looked terrible against the Packers in the snow a couple weeks ago, but they will have learned now, and they will be better against this Bills team that relies on the passing game so much, and they will be able to squeak out a close one in the final minutes. Give me another 2-touchdown performance by King Henry and a Titans team that advances to the AFC Championship game. Ryan, how about your AFC Championship?
Well, in my AFC Championship, I'm really hoping for not that hypothetical that AJ laid out for that Buffalo snowstorm in this AFC title game because I think that would actually favor the Ravens. But I think that Josh Allen will get the best of this porous Ravens defense, and I think that their momentum will carry them to the Super Bowl. I really think this matchup really favors the Bills in this one. I think the Bills have a pretty good defense. They can put some pressure on the running game of the Ravens, so I think they're going to take this one. Lamar Jackson, I'm not sure how he'll perform in the elements of Buffalo. That remains to be seen, and it's going to be another high-pressure game. The Ravens are going to do great to get to this point. They're going to have two very hard matchups against the Titans and Chiefs, so I think they're going to be a little fatigued. They obviously had to go on a run to end the regular season just to get into the playoffs, so I think the conference title game will be the end of their playoff run, and the Bills will get back to the Super Bowl for the first time in 25 years. AJ, what do you have in the repeat of last year's AFC Championship game?
I mean, you said it, the repeat of last year's championship game, and I'm going to go with a repeat result. I see this game going the same exact way, maybe a little Titans lead in the beginning, but give me the Chiefs to come out strong here and just take this game and advance to the Super Bowl. This one, unlike the past two games I've given for the Titans, I don't think this one will be close. This Chiefs team is going to be coasting. They're going to be the well-rested team. It's going to be grueling for Tennessee to have to win two games off this run game and poor defense. So give me the Chiefs easy here to advance to the Super Bowl. Ryan, how about your NFC picks?
In the NFC, we're going to start out here with the football team hosting the Buccaneers, a 7-9 team, hosting an 11-5 team. And honest to God, these under 500 teams and the Panthers in 2014 and the Seahawks in 2010, both with sub 500 records, they actually both won in the wild card round. So this could be a little scary, and I really feel like this matchup favors the football team. Whenever you can get pressure on Tom Brady, I don't care who it is, you're going to have success. I mean, that really is his kryptonite. He does not want to get hit, and this Washington D-line is one of the best in the league. Chase Young, after the Sunday Night Football win against the Eagles, said he wanted Tom Brady. I think he's going to have a spectacular game. Along with the other first-round draft picks on the Washington defensive line. I think they're going to hold this powerful Buccaneers offense under 24 points. And then I'm going to say Alex Smith, he is a veteran quarterback, and he has not had great playoff success. I say he really wants to get some in his career. This might be his last chance in the playoffs. So I'm going to say that he will get this illustrious victory and get the football team into the divisional round. Next game, we have the Rams going to the Seahawks, and we saw this game in Week 16, and what's there to be a different result? Well, I think there will be. I mean, that game was a defensive slugfest, and that's how it was earlier in the season when it was in LA. It was 23-16 Rams, then the one in Week 16 was 20-9 Seahawks. I think this is going to be a very low-scoring game, and I think the Rams running game, they're going to have Cam Akers in this one. I think that makes a big difference, and Jared Goff, I'm assuming he's playing. I might rescind the pick if it's John Wolford starting in this one, but I think he'll do enough. He won't have that 3-interception terrible playoff game that he had in Week 16 against the Seahawks, and I just don't know what Russell Wilson will be able to do against this great Rams defense. What will DK Metcalf do against Jalen Ramsey? We don't know. This is a dangerous pick because the Seahawks can go on to win the Super Bowl with great quarterback play from Russell Wilson, but I'm taking the Rams in a large upset. And then in the 2-7 game, Saints-Bears, I think this is the easiest one to predict in the entire playoffs. Give me the Saints to crush the Bears. I know they played an overtime game earlier in the season and the Bears almost won, but I think this is Drew Brees' last year, and I really think he does not want to get bounced out too early. I mean, this Saints team has lost too early in the last 3 seasons. They lost the Minneapolis Miracle, then they lost the Rams in the horrible PI call, and then last year with the Rudolph controversial no PI call in the end zone. So I don't think the Saints get upset early here. I say they beat the Bears. AJ, what do you have in your NFC wildcard?
In my NFC wildcard, give me the Bucks to beat the football team. I know the Bucks have feasted on horrible defenses in these past couple of weeks with the wins over the Falcons and the Lions, but give me them to beat a good football team defense. I think that this is the week that the football team defense collapses. Get this, they've played very easy opponents down the stretch of this season, and that is when their defenses come to blossom. The Niners, couldn't do anything against them. NFC East opponents like the Cowboys, the Giants, or the Eagles, they couldn't do anything. Give me the Buccaneers to blow up this football team defense, and Tom Brady is going to come out with a fire. Antonio Brown, he's got something to prove. He got 2 touchdowns in Week 17, and he is ready for more against this football team in this wild card round. Give me the Buccaneers in blowout fashion here. On to the Rams-Seahawks game. Give me the Seahawks to win, just for the fact that I think Russell Wilson will be able to put up a great performance against a pretty good Rams defense. This one will be maybe 24-16 or something similar to that. I see LA not really scoring many points, as always, and the Seahawks winning a close one. And I agree with Ryan. I've picked against the Saints the last 2 years in the first round, so I don't usually ride with them in the playoffs because I don't trust them, but this year I agree with him that Breeze is going to come out with a fire, and they're going to blow the doors off of this Bears team. Ryan, what do you have in your divisional round games?
In my divisional round games, we'll start out with the Rams traveling to Lambeau Field, and this is not a Rams team 2 years ago that has the Super Bowl potential. I think their roster is vastly diminished, and them going to Lambeau with a scary Aaron Rodgers and Packers-led offense, I mean, that's a scary sight, even for a Rams defense that's as good as what we're seeing now. And honestly, you just can't pick against Aaron Rodgers. I mean, 48 touchdowns. Looks like he's going to be the clear front runner for the MVP. And then you have the Jared Goff-led Rams offense, which I don't know what they're going to do in the terrible elements of Lambeau Field. I mean, it's not controversial to say that Jared Goff will lay an egg in another big game. I mean, he would be doing well to play well against Seattle, which honestly has a terrible defense. But, I mean, you put him against the Packers defense, which has come into its own at the latter parts of the season, and I think they will tear the Rams offense to shreds. I think the Packers will cruise into the conference championship. And then the football team and the Saints, I think this one could get ugly. I think Kamara and the Saints offense will do enough to beat the football team. And I really think that the football team offense will not do anything against a top 5 Saints defense. I mean, Alex Smith, I really like the matchup because the Bucs defense isn't great in the first round, but then you're going against the Saints defense, and I don't see them putting up more than 17 points. I mean, the football team could make it interesting if it's a defensive slugfest, just like any of the games they've won this season, but I just don't see it happening. So I have Green Bay and the Saints in the conference title round. AJ, do you agree?
Yes, I do. But, of course, different matchups. So let's go through them. In the Packers-Buccaneers game, I see this being a thriller. In the Packers and Buccaneers game, I see this one being a thriller and a high-scoring one at that, barring the snowstorm that I predicted in the other divisional round matchup in Buffalo. Say it doesn't hit Lambeau Field. Anyways, I've got the Packers winning a close one. Either way, high scoring or not, I see this being a great game and maybe one of the playoff games of all time, maybe even overtime, but give me the Green Bay to gut this one out and win at home. In the Saints versus Seahawks game, I see this being another thriller, and I'm going with the maybe a bit controversial pick of the Saints, but I see Kamara, if he doesn't play in the first week because of COVID, he'll definitely be well rested for this one, and he'll want to continue off of his Week 16 performance with all those touchdowns on Christmas. So give me the Saints here to beat a good Seahawks team. Ryan, what do you have in the conference championship game?
In the conference championship game, I have a repeat of the Week 3 performance, the Packers beating the Saints. And really this stems from the Saints, in my prediction, would have beaten the Bears and the football team, two not great playoff teams, in a sterile environment in New Orleans. This is a warm weather team traveling to one of the worst weather areas, and this is going to be in late January. I don't know what we're going to get in this matchup, but it's probably going to be in freezing temperatures. Aaron Rodgers is great throughout his career in these games, and to be honest, this might be Drew Brees' last game with the New Orleans Saints, and he's shown clear issues with his arm strength. So I don't know what they're going to be able to do on the offensive end. He's not going to be able to air it downfield in these frigid temperatures, and then you're just going to have to see a large dose of Alvin Kamara, I think the Saints do have a good chance of winning this game if they can hold Aaron Rodgers in check with that talented defense. But they didn't do that in Week 3. So give me the Packers to win again and advance to the Super Bowl against Buffalo. AJ, what do you have?
I'm going to disagree with you. I've got the Saints in this same matchup, and I would agree that the Packers here are the better team. They're probably going to be in sub-zero temperatures. Aaron Rodgers flourishes in that. But honestly, football doesn't follow the same script, and sometimes the better team does not win. That's what I have happening here. Maybe the Saints get off to a good rush game, and maybe Drew Brees can have a day because he knows that it could be his last performance, and that could drive him to try and achieve his storybook ending at the Super Bowl. But first he has to get there. I see them beating the Packers narrowly and using the rushing game to do with it. Maybe a late touchdown by Jared Cook. Maybe some involvement with Taysom Hill. Give the Packers some extra looks. And I think that this great Saints defense will hold the Packers at least enough so their decent offense will get the best of them. Ryan, what do you have in the Super Bowl?
Well, in my Super Bowl, we have the Packers against the Bills and a great quarterback battle between Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen. These are probably the top two in the MVP race. But when it all comes down to it, give me the Packers and give me the better quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this is honestly a legacy performance. This would be Aaron Rodgers' second Super Bowl game, and the only other one he had was against the Steelers back in the 2010 season. He realizes from them, it's been a decade. This doesn't come around often, and he's got to perform. This is going to be his third MVP, most likely. This might be his last chance to get a Super Bowl, his best chance to get a Super Bowl this season. And I say he's got to get it done for his legacy, being labeled as one of the best to ever do it. And so I'm going to take the Packers' talented offense to destroy this Bills defense. I think this could be a very good Super Bowl matchup in Miami with great weather, two cold weather teams. But I mean, I just say that the Packers offense outduels the Bills offense. I mean, maybe I feel different coming into this game the week of, but for now, give me the Packers to win this one in a shootout in what would be a great Super Bowl matchup. AJ, who do you have between the Saints and the Chiefs?
Yeah, so in this Saints and Chiefs matchup, again, I see the Chiefs being the better team, but I see the Saints gritting it out, and I see Sean Payton calling a great game for this Saints team and them dialing up in a close game. I think they can use a little bit of what the Raiders did early on in the season to try and beat this Kansas City team. Honestly, I think that Mahomes is due for a letdown at some point in the playoffs. He's been very good so far, and I think that this could be the performance that does it. Give me the Saints here. In a thriller, another one, this playoffs, if it goes exactly to my script, is going to be one of the greatest of all time. Give me a great matchup here. Give me the storybook ending for Breeze. I'm buying in. Give me the storybook ending over the Chiefs, a good Chiefs team that will be back. Maybe the Saints won't, but the Chiefs will. Give me the Saints close in a thriller. Ryan, any closing thoughts on this year's playoffs?
Well, I think this is going to be a great playoffs, and there's so many margins for error, especially in this playoff bracket, but we'll see what we have. We both have different matchups in the Super Bowl. Both of our matchups would be great. I would just say from an awards perspective, I would give my Super Bowl MVP, obviously, to Aaron Rodgers, and I suspect that you would give yours to Drew Brees.
Yes, I would. Be sure to like and subscribe and comment your own predictions below. Thank you for watching.